Hello there. So basically, I was sick for a while, so that's why I couldn't post any videos, and it's also another reason why I didn't get a chance to say Happy New Year's. But so far, I'm basically still doing videos. There is some good and sad news that I will mention quickly. The sad news, or the bad news, is that I was supposed to get something recently, but I haven't been able to get it. I don't know if it was because it was a scam I got, but it was, I think, a collection of figurines. I'm not so sure. But I sadly didn't get them. Although the good news is that I found some interesting things while I was also bored, but I only, and I mean, at first this didn't have anything to do with my channel, but I thought it'd be cool to bring it up because it kind of caught my eyes, but we'll explain later. So let's take a look at what we got, although I did want to also show you a bonus, but we'll show it later. First, I have this here. I found these at Walmart. I don't know, these were like, I think, $5, but I thought it'd be cool to show you these because I've been trying to, because I think I was doing a video on, in fact, a long time ago I used to do reviews on one of these vehicles, but sadly, that was on a different channel, but I wanted to show them to where I was opening up the packages, since these aren't, they don't get too much attention too much. So, we're going to take a look at these die-cast truck haulers or semi-trucks, tractor trailers, whatever. I'll put this, like I said, in the video because it was one of those toys where it was eye-catching. Even though my video is mostly about characters or customs, I don't do too many reviews on trucks, but I just did it, or vehicles. We got some interesting ones here, although despite their looks, they look more like models than toys, but just the trailer part seems to be plastic. So we have what looks like a tanker truck one, a tanker one, we got a fire truck one, and we got this strange looking one that I thought was a car carrier, but I started to realize it was a type of sand trailer, or a trailer that carries rocks, sand, or maybe snow. But we'll open that up later. And actually, just to show you the scale of these look like they're appropriate scale to the cars, although I think they should be a little bit bigger, but we'll see. First, let's gonna open, we're gonna do this here. Let's see. Meeny, miny, mo. Okay, we chose the gravel one, so we're gonna open one at a time. So these were like, I think, $5 something. So it's not a bad price actually for something like this. What is funny is that I originally wanted to order these until somewhere in 2018. These started showing up in your local Walmart, and each hauler was about $5 or something around 5, so it's not a bad dollar thing. Ooh, this is interesting. It's like a ghost truck. You could somehow make a chocolate mold out of that, but I don't think so. It's kind of ripped, and it's not like I just ordered it either. It actually came like that. Sometimes the packages are not always correct, or they're not always proper. Let's take a look at this tanker one. We're gonna eventually do reviews on one of them, but I just want to show you how they open. Oh, that was a tough one. And you can see they, for some reason, already attached, but they just come like that. Now we have the last one. This time I'm gonna actually, let's just move the background further, because I have a hard time trying to show how the boxes are opened. This is how you open the box. On each, I don't know if it's on either end, you take one of these ends and you pull it out. It's kind of strange because some of these, I think they were they're the same company as, I think it's called Maisto Highway Haulers. some YouTuber did a review on them. But what was funny was that on the other ones, well, they did have other Maisto highway haulers that came in boxes like these, but that's like only in the US. Although if you go to your, let's say, Walmart, you're gonna find them in this type of package. But just to let you know, Adventure Force and Maisto is actually the same company, so don't worry if you see it like how I was reviewing it, because they're the exact same toys. They just for some reason package them in different ways depending on where you get them. I usually, I was kind of familiar with how they used to been reviewed, because I used to see ones where it was in a Hot Wheels looking package and it was like this. But instead you get them in boxes, which I don't know why, but they just come in boxes. But I don't mind though. I think boxes are cool anyways. Now let's gonna take a look at the review itself, shall we? Alright, so the first one here, we're gonna take a look at this nice red one. Red is one of my favorite colors. That's a fun fact. Well, I shouldn't say a fun fact because it's everyone's favorite color. It's a common color that everyone has. But yeah, we're gonna take a look at this red one and see the feel of it. The quality of it is actually excellent, considering of how much I paid for this. The only fragile things I am feeling is obviously the smoke pipes or exhaust stacks, but that is just very common with some tractor truck toys or semi-trucks. Sometimes they'll have mirrors or parts broken off, but even if it was, let's say, not having the smokestacks, the truck itself is still in good shape, or it's still durable, or it feels durable. It has a nice red paint job. It says Maisto Gravel. This is, now I never knew too much about this, but this is actually a Ford truck cab, which I find very rare, because most toy trucks are either, let's say, Kenworths, Peterbilts, Freightliners, or I one time had a GMC one, a GMC toy truck, but it was missing a trailer. It just had the cab. But I think finding Ford trucks are starting to become easy to find, even though in real life you don't see too many of these semi-trucks anymore. But yeah, this is based on, I think it's called a Ford Aeromax or something like that. It's pulling a gravel trailer, or a trailer that carries sand or gravel. In fact, you can actually put anything like sand, salt, or something inside of there, it looks like. Too bad it doesn't come with a cover. It should, but that's okay. What is cool about some of these trailers is that they have function parts, or parts that are functional, which not too many toys have. First, the trailer can detach, so and it's quite a nice feeling too. It has a metal pin. This is what the underside of it looks like. It's all plastic. This is just metal. Yeah. The wheels are all black for some reason. That's the bottom of it. It's more simplistic, but it does have a nice feel to it. It's not like a knockoff or anything. Sorry about that. For a moment the video like cut off or something, but everything seems to be fine. What I was gonna mention was that these actually, so like I said, these have like moving parts, and this is what the underside of it is, and it's hard to see, but it actually says Maisto, made in China. It's not a bad plastic. It's very like high quality. I mean, like, look at this. It shouldn't be that bad. Well, what is actually cool about this, despite the nice quality of it, is this. Each tractor trailer, or any of these other haulers, there's other types of hauler sets, but I only got these ones, is that they all have opening features. Ugh, this is hard to move. But yeah, these can actually open and close. Yeah, we can also do talking. Okay. Okay, sorry, just joking. But yeah, what's cool about this toy is that, And this is kind of rare on some of these toys. Not all of these gravel trailer toys have this, but they have this feature to where the bottom things would open up so that the gravel can be unloaded, which is very good, and it's also important if you actually were a kid trying to put sand on there, because if it was, let's say, closed, you just have this useless container that's more of like a cargo thing, and you can't really unload things. So, I mean, so that's nice that they did that feature where they open up. What's funny also is that I actually saw a trailer of this Maisto that was exactly the same color as this, except the details were different, although these weird patches that you see, I don't know if they're patches, they're like detailing, are actually painted black. Actually, I think it was because when it was painted in black, I thought it was a car carrier, but without any cars, but it actually isn't. It's a totally different trailer. They do, however, have a car carrier trailer, but it's not like the ones that we see. It's more of this semi one. And it came with a cab that's like the fire truck one. But this is all I have, though. But anyways, yeah, that's the hauler. I actually, by the way, I think did reviews on these, but on a different channel. But anyways, that's it's for some reason spaced out. I don't know why. It has that very cool. Obviously this is based on like a U.S. design because it has the, and I don't know why. Now I didn't know this, but this is actually so that the trucks don't, like, you see how it, like, you know, it's like it doesn't, you know, it's like a ramming thing or whatever it is. Because a lot of people, for some reason, like to do tailgating or ramming into, like, the back of, let's say, a vehicle bumper carts. So, it's ridiculous. And it's also a problem for those who are delivering hazards or goods. But yeah, and the trailer can also detach and attach. You can see, it's hard to see, but it has like a clip there that is like when you push it, it locks into place. And for some reason with the screw for some reason goes through the plastic. I don't know why. I get it was to tie it up, but it didn't have to go all the way through. But it's okay. Overall, this is actually not a bad toy. In fact, this is actually better than all the other, because what's funny is that I had this, I think it was a Motormax gravel truck, like this, like the trailer was like this, except the pieces of it were separate. Now, the problem, though, was that because of how the design of it was made, where these were like panels than just one plastic, these panels would literally fall off, and it just looked like some weird-looking trailer. And because the whole thing was all plastic and it wasn't built properly, the whole thing just fell off, and I was just left with a flatbed frame. Although, because I was missing the parts of it, I just turned it into like a flatbed truck or something. It's not very great. But this type of trailer is actually much better feeling. It's a very good quality. It's not going to fall apart on you. Unless if you try to yank these off, these could, but most of the time, if you were just simply, you know, like, it's not going to fall apart on you, and that's very nice. So overall, that's a pretty good one, this gravel truck. So I like that one. Now the next one we're going to take a look at is this tanker one, which I call it a US tanker because, and I remember when I used to go to the United States, for some reason United States tanker trucks are exactly like this. And it's probably the most realistic trailer I ever seen. But there are some details that for some reason it's missing on, but we'll explain later. First, I just wanted to say that I really love the color scheme on this. This is this is just, it reminded me of another one I did a review on, except instead of just, let's say, the frame of it the same color as this, it's a different color. This one here, because I used to have one, I think it was called Racing Fuels, Hornet Racing Fuels, and then I had this, two airport ones like this, but it had a different cab. I think it was a American Airlines tanker one, but it was the older style ones. It was actually on a different channel. But if you Google the Maisto highway haulers, you're gonna see lots of these variants and colors. For some reason, there are more of these tankers that are all white than silver. I don't see too many silver ones. I have no idea why. But I don't mind though. I kind of think the white color schemes like these are pretty cool. This one here has like a blue and black, like the top of it is black, which is like the manhole thing, but the bottom of it is like it looks like a regular blue, a regular light blue, but this looks more like a teal in real life. It has the D there, which stands for Davis HI or H1 Performance Fuels. You know what I actually thought was that I thought it said high performance. Shouldn't it say... It's... Yeah, that word is just confusing. Do they mean high like hello? Or do they mean high like the power of it is high energy or something? Like high formula? I have no idea. Yeah, maybe this is some sort of a racing truck. I think it's like I have like... In total, I actually have like 5 of these. I had 2 American Airline ones like these, but it came with Kenworth cabs. And the tankers were like the similar paint job, except one had like a blue scheme, but the other one had like a black scheme. And then I had a corn fuel one, which was a regular silver color. And then I had one that was very similar to this, except this was orange and this was orange. So I guess we now have 2 racing tanker trucks, or racing fuel ones, like tankers that carry, petrol that is for race cars or something. That's very interesting. Although you could use it for your typical gas stations. It does look very nice though. I like the old, like it has like an old-fashioned look to it, and this is the back. The back is very interesting. Oh, look, I like how they did the details here. That is actually quite detailed. I like that. This is not just a plain bumper or something like that. I like how they just, you know, they were gonna, because on some, they just leave this all blank, but on this one, they didn't just leave it like this. They decided to paint these chevron stripes, which look very nice. And it says D there for Davis. It's actually, what's funny is that I used to see a tanker truck called Day Fuels. That's almost what this tanker truck is reminding me of. I even have a model of it, but I don't know where it is. Although I don't sell this model because this is just a model that I made on my own. Although I plan on showing it on a different video. But for now, we just want to show you these. So it's actually the same cab as this, except this one has like a black grill. The other one has a silver grill. I kind of prefer the silver one. But I think the black grill is cool too. Oh, and I just noticed the lights are painted. That's even cooler. Not too much of these had painted lights, I noticed. Now what's cool about this one is that now this one, like the other ones, detaches, but it has a plastic pin. But the thing I like, although I don't know why it's loose, is this. Now, you gotta be careful not to break this. This kind of feels like it breaks, but what you can do is you can actually stand the trailer. Or maybe not. I don't know. It should stand. That's weird it's not standing. Let me see. Come on, stand. Okay. I think it... Okay, I have another one that's the same as this, but it somehow stands. So depending on how the feet are designed, it may stand or it may not stand. Most of the time it's just gonna do that. I don't even know why. Sometimes these things stand. We're just gonna have to do it like this. I had to bend the things forward, which is not what you should do, but you get the idea. It's supposed to stand. So that's pretty cool. They added that feature. I just don't like how sometimes when it's, because they don't always make it. I mean, I'm not saying that Maisto toys are bad or anything. It's just sometimes there might be factory errors or anything like that. Maybe I didn't pull them properly, but there you go. You can stand the trailers. That's pretty cool. And if you want, you could do this where the truck could just park it. That's actually pretty nice. I like this one. And I have like a bunch of these actually, but I don't have them with me. It's like in a different house I put them in, but there it is. That's the petrol tanker. And there's like other variants of this too, but this is like the latest one. The previous ones, I think the first ones were the corn fuel tanker truck. The second one I saw, even though there should have been a third one, which was a milk tanker one, but it was shaped like that one, the petrol one, but it was something to do with milk. But then I saw the racing fuel ones, which I got, and then I kept. Now, I got these from different places. One was at an HO scale model train shop. It was the same model shop that I got my HO scale buses. At the time, they actually had one of these haulers, but it was in an older style. It was more realistic looking. But these are still cool, though, nonetheless. So it's nice I have like a fifth one in my collection. Now we're going to take a look at the fire truck. Wee-oo. Okay, just kidding. I don't consider this one too much, well, we'll explain later, but we're just gonna take a look at the toy first. So this one here is a fire truck, a fire version, although I consider more of this a utility trailer, because this apparently came in a scheme that was not a fire truck, but it was instead a utility truck. It was like a nice yellow color. This one here is not a bad one, actually. It's like a nice greenish yellow color. It's like a neon yellow or green. And here's why, because it says Airport Fire Division, which means that it's based for the airports. In fact, most airport fire trucks are always in this type of scheme. There might be some that are red or different colors, but you'll usually see some in this type of scheme. So this scheme is actually not bad, and I think it looks interesting if it was for a hauler style, but we'll explain the problem though about this, but that can just be reversed or fixed around that. First, let's just feel the weight of this. This one actually feels way lighter than this one. This one feels light, but I don't know, something tells me that this feels much lighter, even though there are more pieces to it. This one is based on, I don't know what cab this is, if this is a Mercedes cab. You can actually find this exact cab pulling a car carrier, but I didn't see it though. Actually, I did see it, but I already had it. It was like a yellow version, I think. I'm not so sure. Because there's like so many of these variants of these tractor trucks. Now this one does not have moving parts on the support legs, but it does have stands, which can still stand the trailer. But because they are low legs and they're not meant to stand, because they're in their they're in their position to where they're not meant to stand. It's so that the truck can pull, but it is okay though. I think it still looks cool. And now this one's actually very hard to detach because of how the connection is designed. But what you do is very similar to the gravel one. It has a metal pin and you push them together, and if you want to detach it, you have to pull it harder. But you don't want to pull it too hard to break it, otherwise you might break the toy, but there you go. This one, the reason why I say this is because this one has an air filter that I guess became the smokestack, but this is actually not a smokestack. This is an air filter. It's not like the same air filters that those tractors have. It's this type of air filter to where it looks more like a scoop than like a mushroom. So what it does is the air will just instantly go inside. It's kind of interesting, but that's and it's not really because most semi trucks that actually have this would be in places like Australia. I mean, this could have been the type of truck that you could use for, like, let's say road trains, or maybe European style tanker trucks, or let's say vehicles or haulers, whatever. But I still like it though. It's not ugly or anything. Although there is one problem about it, is that since now here's the thing. These types of trucks, now this semi truck, oh, you already saw the part moving. You weren't supposed to see that. That was the spoiler. This is based on a fire. I call these trucks articulated fire trucks, but it's actually, I think they have many different names, like aerial fire trucks or semi trucks, whatever. The problem though is that I understand for this toy company that they wanted to replicate something similar, but in real life, you don't actually see haulers exactly like these. If you did see these, they would actually come with, let's say, a four-wheeled semi-truck, but it would be a fire truck. The trailer would be slightly different than this, but I mean, maybe the trailer is not that bad. Although, I do think that the trailer should have one wheel, since if it was a aerial semi-truck, that it would have one wheel, which is actually a steering wheel. If you just Google articulated fire trucks, and you'll see that the real life ones is actually not the same as what you see in this toy. And even though this, it's not so realistic, because the cab should have been based on a fire truck with a semi-hook thing, and that this trailer should only have one wheel and a cab in there. I think this truck is still cool though. It's not bad. Although if you are into realism, I think the closest tractor truck you can ever get is a Ford tractor truck. Too bad they don't have it anymore, but they were recently releasing this shell Ford cab from Matchbox. What I would do is, if you find one of those, you could just buy it, paint it in like a fire truck scheme, and add, like, let's say LED lights, not like real LEDs, but just add like a light bar on it, attach it to this trailer, and if they were, let's say, different color schemes, you could just paint it in one color and make them both red or white, and then you should have a nice fire truck. And if you want, you could remove one axle, but I think that would look ugly because of the design. But I still like it though. It's not ugly or anything. I always kind of wanted to get this one. It was interesting. Although, actually, I wanted to do something that I haven't done. I want to see if the trailer can be attached to this one. It's very tough. Oh! It seems like you can, but due to the design of the trailer, you can't really turn it as properly. In fact, it kind of looks like the truck is about to tip over. So, for some reason, that's actually one negative thing I see. Well, there's two negatives. First off, the cab is not the right cab for a trailer like this. If it's gonna be based on those fire trailers, this is not the exact cab for it. The second negative issue is that due to how short the length of this is, you can't attach other trailers unless the fifth wheel is like further apart. But if you're gonna, let's say, attach this type of cab, you can't. It's too short. So that's the problem I see with this. However, you can attach this one to this one, but it for some reason leaves you way too much space, I think. I think the cab of it is like too far apart also. But it still looks good though, even if it's not like I understand they were trying to replicate the realism, but it still looks good. I mean, I wouldn't say, oh, this truck is garbage and you should not get it. If you are still into fire trucks, this is not a bad option. Although I don't see too many of this, but do airports ever had a semi fire truck like this? Let me know in the comments. I never seen any airports that have trucks like these. I only see those big massive fire trucks, but I don't see any ones that, because these are more for like places like in New York or anywhere that has a city. In fact, even in the View to Kill movie with James Bond, there's a part where I don't know who drives it, is actually driving one of these fire trucks. And it's funny how I don't know if he's in this cabin or in this truck where he steers the trailer. It's actually a very interesting scene. And that was like in San Francisco. So depending on how the cities are, you might sometimes have these trucks. The city that I go to, they don't have these, unfortunately. But they still look cool anyways. I think, there's other fire trucks that are just as cool as this. But yeah. So, the quality of it feels nice. This one is the only truck that I can see to where it doesn't feel like it's gonna break or something. So that, if you wanted to give this to a small child, I would prefer giving this one. Although I do have a problem with the trailer, and you already saw it. We'll explain the trailer part later, but first we're going to mention the features. So the bottom of it is obviously flat, and here's the details on the back. It's quite nice, actually. It's not bad for a $5 truck like this. Not actually that bad. The details, I think, are the same on both sides, but it still looks cool, though, nonetheless. It has a utility bucket thing, or whatever people use. I don't see any hoses that it would come with, or whatever. Although, it does have a very nice feature, and it probably has more features than all the other ones, is this. The ladder not only can move up and down, obviously, this can also extend very, very, very long. And I'm not joking. Look how long this thing is. I can't even... I'm about to fall over on my chair, but look how long that is. That is quite high. You could probably, that's actually... This is actually really nice. This is a really nice one. If you do need, let's say, fire trucks and you have, like, very tall buildings, this is, I think, perfect. Maybe it's because of how long it is, you're going to have a longer ladder. Although the negative thing I see about this is that this, for some reason, is like lifting up, which it shouldn't. Although I think it's with these grooves that they seem to hold on. However, I would be careful though anyways, even though it's not falling apart that bad. I think there might have been toys that were worse than this. In fact, I don't consider these knockoffs because they have their own brands and they're not copying anyone else. Oh, I forgot also the bucket moves. Although it's not a very good moving point, it feels very stiff as if it could break. So I wouldn't actually, might as well just leave that alone. Oh, and another part that actually moves, and everyone will like this, is the crane itself, or the pivoting thing. It can rotate 360 degrees. And that's very good, because if you're doing, let's say, shots where the truck, and then you can't, you can actually rotate this and make it go up like that. I think that's actually a very good feature. So, overall, this actually has a lot of articulations. So the articulations on these are excellent, except for the last part of the ladder, because for some reason this ladder seems to be falling off, but it's only because this is intended to slide out, so, I at the same time can't blame it. I'm actually not going to count that as a negative thing, because it's kind of understandable why this part is loose. It's because the ladders are supposed to slide out. I mean, if you were to glue this, it's not going to look great, so you might as well just, it's just normal how it is. The bucket, though, is just for some reason too stiff, but it still looks good, though, if it's, you know, if you're into realism. You could try to put a figurine in there, but it has to be a very tiny one. But yeah. So the articulating, you know, for the articulations, there's like a lot of points for this. So this is actually pretty good for what you're getting. So that's the fire truck, and oh, just for the scale of it, because I didn't get a chance to, let's take a look at the scales. The scale of it is not that bad, although I do think they should be a little bit bigger. But from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look too bad. I think it looks better actually with these ones. If I show you like with these other trucks, it probably looks much better. But they still look quite nice though. So if you are trying to find HO scale models or trucks, this is actually, I think, a good candidate for you. Even if they're not as detailed, because these are one of those toys where they're not only for adult collectors, but they're also for kids as well. Although I don't recommend giving some of the other ones to the kids due to the fragile pieces. I would actually give one of these ones with the less fragile parts. Although, due to the trailer of this, I have a feeling this might break. I'm not going to say that it's crappy or anything, but it depends. If your kid plays too roughly, this might not be suitable for them. But if it's just something to where you want to display it, or if the kid, you know, he's careful with it, it shouldn't be that bad. I don't think it's as bad as knockoff toys. I think knockoff toys are worse than this. But yeah, so the scaling of it is quite nice. The details on it are interesting and cool. Size is good. The quality of it feels good. And the moving parts of it are very excellent for $5. I think, you know, you're getting what you pay for, so that's very nice. I think I actually recommend these haulers for those who are trying to look for HO scale models and stuff, and especially if you're into realism. This tanker just for some reason looks realistic, and so is this gravel one. So I mean, these are honestly pretty cool toys. Even if they're for kids, they do have some nice details to them. And yeah, so anyways, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys later. Actually, before I cut the video off, I want to show you this bonus that I plan on doing a review on. I have this mystery package, but we'll explain later what it is in a different video. But goodbye, guys. See you guys some other time. Peace.